गावे को साज करे तन खे गावे को साज करे तन खे गावे को जिया ले फिरे दे गावे को जिया ले फिरे दे गावे को ताने गावे को जापे देश दो गावे को जापे देश दो गावे को वेखे आदरा दो गावे को वेखे आदरा दो गावे को तान गावे को तान कथना कथे न आवे कथना कथे न आवे कथ कथ कथी कोटि कोट कोट कथ कथ कथी कोटि कोट कोट दींदा दे ले थकवा दींदा दे ले थकवा जुगा जगंतर गाएगा जुगा जगंतर गाएगा गावे को तान होवे किसे तान गावे को तान होवे किसे हुक्मी हुक्म चलाए राहो हुक्मी हुक्म चलाए राहो नानक विकसे परवाहो नानक विकसे परवाहो साचा साहेब साजरा गावे को तान होवे किसे तान गावे को दाद जाने निशान गावे को तान Now, from the apparent look of it, you will find that the stanzas are disconnected. And when you go deeper into it, you can only say wow, because there is no way to describe it otherwise. Let's look at the sequence from the moment we began this journey. When we began this journey, we were given some characteristics of the ultimate energy, the ultimate force. And then we were told that if you want to become one with that ultimate energy, you have to get started on the path of meditation, repetition of one name, one word, Jap. Then we were told, Jap, but who? And the answer came back that you Jap the ultimate who was there before everything else came. Jugadi Sach. Then the question was, why that? Why are you asking us to do so? And the answer came back that here was the established pattern. So Gurvani reminded us of 4 very well known methods of becoming one with the ultimate creator. And we found that each one of them had some difficulty, some complexity in. So, to simplify, we were told to jump. And then we were told that this can be done only if you understand the will. So stay within the will. And the question came, whose will is this? And where is this will? How do you define it? And the answer came back that the will is his hukam, his will is within you. The reason you are not able to see it, hear it, recognize it, because you yourself are not yet focused enough. You are scattered. And then to get that scattered mind to understand the will, can you help as to what that will is? And the answer came back, yes, we can give you some hints what the will is. And remember that everything is within his will. And we spent some time solving the paradox. If everything is in his will, then what is my role? Then how can I ever go against the will? So we discussed that last time quite a bit in detail. And now this is the sequence of events going on. Today's session starts with saying Gave Kotan. And it appears suddenly there is a change of subject. Because Gave has been literally translated in our language as singing. And therein lies the problem. Because we have taken the word Gave absolutely literally. And that's not what Gurvani is saying. This is where my basic difficulty with the establishment is. I disagree with them, they disagree with me, but I am asking you, forget about who is saying this, put your own mind's energy into it and try to go beyond the words, because the process, the thought, the thing started, the subject is of Jap. The topic is, you want to become one with the one. Has it not been done before? Yes. Were there processes before? Yes. Why new process? Well, here are the reasons. So, as you see, there is a sequence going on. Then suddenly the word Gave comes and we say, well, wait a minute, we thought we were talking of meditation. Where the word Gave came from? So, Gurbani says, first understand the word Gave, and then you will understand the rest of it. When we were discussing the ninth master's Vani, Shlok Mahela Nama, those of you who were present in that, they will remember it. That Vani starts with by saying, Gun Govind Gayo Nahi Janmaya Karat Peen Kaunanak Har Bhajmana Jihibit Jal Kaumi. Gurvani says, what is Gana? What is singing? Gun Govind Gayo Nahi Janma Akarat Ki. Ninth Master says, you really haven't sung. You don't know what singing is. That's why you have not sung. Because what you call singing is not the singing for him. That's the amazing part. Isn't it? Playing the harmonium, playing the tabla, singing is not singing. Gurvani says that may be singing for the world, but it isn't singing for him. So what is singing for him? He says, Aisa kirtan karman mere iha uha jo kaam mein tere. Now therein lies the problem. Because this singing, he says the kirtan is what? Singing is what? That will help you not only in this world but in that world also. In this world it's very helpful, right? I mean, it's entertainment, sounds good, I'm enjoying it. Some people are making money out of it, right? So this world is able to use this singing very well. But what about that world? You say, well, that world, Gun Govind Gayo, Janma Akarat King, he said, you wasted your life. So then what is that? He answers in the next line. He says, Kaho. Kaho. Start repeating the word. Which? Kaho Nanak. The word that Nanak gave you. That came from that house. That came from that philosophy. That came from that discipline. Us akhar nu keh. Kaho Nanak. Nanak de akhar nu jap. And that will be what? Har Bhajamana. That is what the real bhajan is. Bhajan is not singing the songs. Bhajan is repeating his name. How? Jihe Ved Jalako mean. To get to that level, just as a fish without water cannot survive, you should fall in love with saying his word up to that level that when you are not able to say it, you should suffocate. You should feel that something is missing. Just as Kabir says, that the moment I am ready to thread the needle, I have a problem. As long as I am weaving, I am okay. I can say Ram when the needle goes this way. I can say okay when the shuttle goes that way. But then the thread is finished, I have to take that needle out and thread the needle. At that time I have to stop my breath. Because, you know, if you are threading the needle and you are breathing, the hand shakes. So you have to hold your breath so that both the needle and the finger can be stable. And Kabir says, I am tortured at that moment because I cannot say Ram anymore because the breath is stopped. So Guru, ninth master, Tegh Bahadur says, Jehe Ved Jalako. Unless you develop that type of thirst That type of longing in repetition of his name, you have not sung it. And there lies a problem. Gun gave ko tan hove kise tan. Tan means the power, the energy, the capacity, the capability. Who has this capability? Somebody should be able to do it if they have the capacity to do it. Gave ko tan. Somebody should be able to meditate on your name if they really had that capacity to meditate on your name. But they don't. Where is the human? Because human is a part of you. So how can the part be ever capable of describing the whole? Gave ko tan. Only that can, who can? Those can meditate who have the capacity, capability. But they don't. Gave ko tan hove se tan. Is there anyone who can really claim it with confidence, or yes, I can do it, or I have done it? No, nobody has that capability. But here lies the problem. Those who dared go that route, they could not perceive the totality of it. They could not contain the totality of it. So what did they do? They focused on a single aspect of it. So they subdivided you in parts. Since I cannot ever describe you, cannot ever fully comprehend you, let me take a part of it. But the tragedy was that the part of that was only taken for the self. Gave ko daat jane nisan. So they started praying for you, meditating for you, with the focus on what? Daat. Daat means the one that you give. Daat, dan, that comes from you to me. So focus kahan pe ho gaya? Right? What you have given me. You give me my children, you give me my house, you give me my house, my wife, my car, my this and my that. The focus became on that. So the focus got off the giver. Focus did not remain on दाता. Focus काते बन गया? निशानी की बन गई? दाता नहीं बढ़िया, दाता नहीं बढ़िया, दात बन. So whenever we talk, whenever we meditate, the inner being is focused on what? निशानी की है. गावे को दात जाने निशान. उसकी जड़ी दात है, his gift to us became the focus. So the mind got on the track. You have given me this, so many. Now give me this also. So the meditation, instead of becoming a shukrana, instead of becoming a thank you, became a demand. Gave ko gun badhiya yacha. While those who did not focus on the daat, okay, that's physical energy. Alright, I don't want anything because I have enough of this. I want good. I want goodness. Vadiyaiya. Give me all the characteristics, all of the good things that the people can say, he's a great man. Gave ko vidya vikha vichar. Okay, so those who are not in demand, what are they doing? See, what Guru Nanak is trying to tell us, that those who did go on that path got trapped by the parts of the whole rather than looking at the totality. So he's describing those parts. Those who were not focused on guna, the positive characteristics, vadayanya, the name and the fame. Some of them got tracked by what? Gave ko vidya vikham vichar. Alright? They became the pandit, the brahmin, the preacher, the jnani. What? Vidya vikham. The knowledge but complicated. The logic is so esoteric. You know, that itself has its own intoxication. It has its own pull. It has its own magnetism. If you can sit amongst your friend and discuss something complex in a simplified fashion, you feel very good. I remember that when the Einstein for the first time came out with a theory of relativity, and he started presenting the paper. At the end of the session, there was only one person left. And his parting comment to him was, I wonder if you understand what you're saying the way I do. Because it was such a novel concept, slippery concept. Even though he was trying to explain, he couldn't get through the people. There was only one person who understood, but at the same time came to the conclusion that he is saying it, but he really doesn't understand what he's saying. Vidya vikham vichar. So, and it happens to all of us. I'm sure if you honestly look into yourself, there have been times when you did reach out to the star to explain something, to simplify it, and you discover that you have really gotten into something beyond your capacity. And Guru Nanak says that has itself, it's very, very alluring. When you can hypothesize something so complex. But in that endeavor, what happens? When you are busy demystifying the mystical, what's happening to you? To the self. It's going further and further away from the Creator because it's too busy with the mystery itself. The one who created the mystery then keeps on receding back and back and back, further and further. And the mind gets focused on closer and closer to the mystery. Gave ko vidya vikham vichar. In that esoteric knowledge, the mind has been absolutely hypnotized, and the real creator of that mystery is absolutely non-existent. And when the creator is non-existent, the ego asserts in its completeness, in its fullness. Remember, the ego will stay a subordinate only when it knows that there is a superior being watching me. Right? When the boss is not there, what happens? We have a saying, when the cat is away, the mouse will play. Means what? The ego suddenly takes over. But if you are able to remember always that there is a superior being watching over you all the time, what will happen then? It will not raise its head. So, Guru Nanak says this is what happened to the people. They did do the meditation, they did do the repetition, they did do that, but the focus kept on shifting. Everyone had a different focus. गावे को तान, होवे किसे तान, गावे को तात जाने निशान, गावे को गुण वडियाई आचार, गावे को विद्या विखम विचार, गावे को साज करे तन के. Somebody got focused on just the life and the death cycle. It's a mystery. The two things that are not within human control is the entrance and the exit from this world. And so the people went in solving that mystery. How do I come into this world? How do I leave this? Why do I come to this world? Why I leave it? And now the mind is completely trapped in that mystery. Again the Creator keeps on going further and further away. The discussion, the thought, the meditation, the focus is still not the Creator. It is what He created. The creation is the mystery. Gaave ko saaj kare tan ke. Somebody is focused on the creation. Somebody says, well, not only He creates, then He destroys. Tan ke, the dust. He creates this out of this dust and He sends it back to the dust. And let's decipher this mystery. How can a human being be created out of dust? I mean, it's amazing. The man's arrogance, man's curiosity. I just was reading today in the newspaper that they cloned a piglet, which is minus the two genes which cause its organ to be rejected by the human body. So they have the piglets whose organs now theoretically are ready to be used by the humans as transplant. So they are saying that they are going to first experiment with the substitution of those parts into the animals, and if the animals don't reject it, they will move on to the human, and this will become then an endless supply of organs to the human. Isn't that amazing? Look at the arrogance of the human mind, that it can actually create a body for the purpose of cutting it open while it's alive and use the parts for the human. And this is what. Now, tell me, to that scientist, what do you think? That does he not think that I am God? I am creating life, I am sustaining life. How do you bring such an arrogance into control? And Gurbani says, there are people, they did want to meet the Creator, they did devise the methods, but unfortunately the focus shifted. Gaave ko saaj kare tan ke. And now the focus is how to not to let this tan, that body, become dust. It's a beautiful story attributed to Alexander. I mean, it's just a parable that Alexander used to say that he needs Abe Hayat. Abe Hayat, translated from Persian, is that nectar which makes you immortal. So he told, because he said he thought that he has conquered the world, because he had gone to India and come back. He never reached his home back, he died on the way. But he felt that this is the world, that's it, I have conquered it. And so now in order to rule that world that has been conquered, he need a very long life. So he said, I want that nectar which makes the life immortal. And the story goes that somebody told him that there is a small pond, and in that's a water, that if you take a sip out of that, you will never die. And the story goes that he goes there and is ready to pick up with his hand. He scoops some water and he hears a laughter. And he looks around there and he sees that on the branch of a tree there is a caricature of a bird. Just the caricature, just the skeleton. There is no muscle on it at all, just the bones. But there is a laughter coming through those bones. So he looks at it and says, "Why are you laughing?" And the bird says, "Well, I'm glad I'm going to have some company." So what do you mean? Go ahead. Sip that water. Because I made that mistake too. And look at me now. I want to die, but I cannot. But the muscle on the bone, that does not have an indefinite life. I may have gotten an indefinite life. But what about the muscle which is going to enjoy the life? The tissue, the nerve ending. Slowly, they all have withered away, and all I'm left with is this bone. And now I am praying, please give me the water so that I can die. Find the other water. Nadi Abe Hayat. So just give me the antidote so that I can get out of this cage, which is nothing but bones. So the story goes that Alexander came to his senses that the long life is not of the body. When the people were talking of living long life, they meant the name should survive long after. The deeds should survive long after. Buddha died 2,500 years ago, we still remember him. Nanak died 500 years ago, we still remember him. Would somebody remember us after 500 years? 200 years? 2 years? Isn't it? That's what the long life means. But look at the arrogance of the human. There has been a Urdu poet called Ravan, and he talks about that. He says, "Hil se hav se hayate fani na gayi, is dil se hawaye kamrani na gayi, hai sange mazar pe bhi tera naam ravan, kya markar bhi umeede zindagani na gayi." There's before dying, you have engraved your name on a stone. You still have a desire to live, even after death, that you inscribe your name on a stone. What's the matter with you? What does the name? How many just want the sins have been born before, and how many will be born after I die? What is the significance of taking a stone and inscribing a name just want to sing from X year to X year? What does that mean? It says, "Hai sange mazar pe bhi tera naam ravan." Sange mazar. The stone on the grave. Hai sange mazar pe bhi tera naam ravan. Kya markar bhi umeede zindagani na gayi? It says, now you're dead, why the hell don't you die now? Just let go. But you don't. And that's what Gurbani is saying. The focus changed. Gaave ko jiya le fir bhe. Focus became that he gives the life and he takes away. It is a mystery, let's try to solve it. And if he is going to try to take it away, I'm going to try to hold on to it. Actually, this happened. There was in Punjab. Literally, I'm telling you a real life story. That an elderly lady came back to visit one of the temples, Gurdwara, and she's walking in the Parikrama Badwadi, and she's scanning every stone. And somebody stopped her. "You're stopping the traffic. What's your problem?" She says, "Last year I came and gave X number of rupees, dollars, to the stone cutter and said, my name must be engraved in one of these stones I'm looking for. the stone where my name is. And he said, did you come to visit or come to find your name? He said, no, this trip is only to find my name. First one for last year was to order it, this year to make sure that it is there. Isn't it amazing? That a rich man makes a mandir and then calls it a Birla mandir. Yeah? Bhagwan ka mandir nahi ban paya. Right? What do we say when we go to Delhi? We're going to visit a Birla mandir. And what is there? Few birds, few stones. The arrogance of the human being. Gaave ko jeela karte. And then look at the other side. It says, Gaave ko jape bisaidu. Somebody is focused on the fact that that journey is so far wide, so distant, so long, that we really can't make it. Gaave ko jape bisaidu. Right? Isn't that what we say? Most of the time, oh, bada mushkil hai. It's going to take a long time. I'm starting too late. I have missed up so much. So Gurbani says, what is this? It is the excuse of the mind to not to do something and not to focus on his name, but to focus on now the process. The process is going to take too long a time. That's it. So you sit and you discuss, you argue. I think I shared that parable with you, where the two meditators were sitting to adjacent trees, and the story goes is that Narad Muni walked by, and one of them was first stopped him and said, Naradji, where are you coming from? And he said, I'm coming from the heaven. He says, well, would you please do me a favor and check with the records how many more years I have to meditate before I'll get. He says, okay, he insist. After a few moments he says, well, you got 3 more years left. So he gets up, he gets angry, he throws it all nonsense. 3 more lives. 3 more lives left. No way over there. I'm done. I'm tired of this. So the next one was a young man is sitting next to him. He says, well, Naradji, if you would help me too. He says, okay. So he comes back and says, well, the message is that the tree under which you are sitting, as many leaves on that tree, you need as many lives to get to nirvana. And he starts dancing. So the other guy who had 3 lives, he gets angry. He says, what's the matter with you? Have you counted how many leaves are on that tree? He says, well, no. I don't need to count it. I'm just happy that someday I will get to nirvana. He could have said, I'm not qualified at all. At least my list is in the names who will get there someday. I'm okay. I'm ready to wait. The story goes that he got the salvation right away, but the one who was left with 3 lives, he's still waiting. Means what? What's the purpose of this parable? When you surrender to the will, hukam razai chalana na nikle. The question is, have you understood this secret? That it is the will that does it. It is his doing that makes it happen. Even though you are the instrument, you are the conduit. Is it sinking deeper into it or not? If it's not, then Gave ko vidya vikram vichar, you'll keep on analyzing and discussing and arguing and back and forth and you'll get nowhere. Gave ko saaj kare tankhe, gave ko jiya le phir dehe. Now if you notice, look at the word phir. it is translated as phir means again. But that's not that word is. Terare se hari hai, so phire means cyclical, circle. वापस आना, जाना फिर वापस आना, cycle. So somebody just focused on that cycle of life and death. Why it is not, how it happens, why. Actually, I just last week was in San Antonio, and the most hot topic of discussion was, how do we know if we had a past life, and how do we know we will have a future life? And that was a discussion. Now the reality is, if you really want an honest answer, you are not going to get it. You are not going to get it. There is no answer to this. Islam, Christianity, and Judaism, three systems do not believe that there was a past. They do not believe that anything is going to happen afterward. They only believe that you're going to die, you will die. So just bury your carcass, and when the final incarnation happens, you will be again resurrected. That's basically it. But whole of the East, Far East, Buddhism, Hinduism, Sikhism, they believe in the cycle of life and death. There are multiple births or multiple deaths. You pick one. What's your belief? Sikh theosophy believes in the cycle of life and death. If you don't accept it, that's okay. That's your part. Sikhism is not going to have any argument with it. I'm going to fight with you. It's basically asking you to think through. Try to see through it. If there is only one life for each one of us, what decides how we are and why we are different than the other, including the Siamese twins and quadruplets and quadruplets? You have known that even though they are physically the same, most of the characteristics are the same, but there is always one identifying factor. I mean, the intellectuals are sitting there, 7 children. The parents really know whose name is what. So there's some behavior pattern which identifies them uniquely. And the question would be, why? If the genes are the same, time, etc., blah, 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 you know the science, you know the drill. Eastern mysticism explains that difference on the basis of the past, sanskara, the karma. That there was a life for this particular entity before, and whatever is gathered is manifesting here. Now, if you don't want to believe that, that's okay. But Gurbani says that there are people who are just focused on that. Gave ko jiya la kire de. The jiya, it's not G. We pronounce it wrong. Gave ko jiya means the inner being. La takes it away, that, and then gives it back. And why, how, when, where, etc. The people are focused on that. So you can see that this is a sequence of trying to look at the part, and by looking at the part, trying to imagine what the whole is. And the Gurbani says, therein lies the problem. You should not have just picked up a part. You just should have looked at the totality and say, everything is His. Everything is being done by Him through different things. Gave ko jiya la farde, gave ko japay disay dur. And somebody says, It's too tough. I remember when I was in Bombay and learning in the movie industry, there was a specific thesis that we needed to understand, and that was the struggle between the good and the evil. So here is a villain and here is a hero, and you set up their fight at the final analysis, and there is only one weapon, whether it is a gun or a knife or anything else. So if you put the struggling villain and hero here, and the gun is in that corner, they are not even going to bother about it, because getting over there is too far away. So what you will do? You will make sure that the gun stays within the possible reach of at least one of them. So when the one of them tries to reach it, then the other's job is to just with the other hand slightly push it further. But only enough that both can continue struggling. It's not so far that you cannot ever get it. There's no hope. But it's not so close that you can grab it. And hence the movie goes on. They can set that stage, and the fight and the drama can be prolonged just by that technique. One overpowers the other, tries to get to it, he touches it, the other one knows he's touching it, but he cannot grab it, so he pushes it. And then you keep on alternating, and the scene can be dragged on through that struggle. And that's you just have to get started. Gaave ko jape disse dur, and there's a few who says Gaave ko dekhe hadra hadur. There are others who says, what's the matter with you? I just need to just close my eyes and I can see it. Hadra hadur. Is it next to me, within me? I can see it. That's what's happening to us. We go to our guru and he says, I can't get there. I've been meditating for X number of years and I said, don't worry about it. It's there, I have seen it. It's within your reach. Don't give up. Gaave ko veke hadra hadur. And Guru Nanak says, what's happening here? He says, it doesn't matter whether it's far or near. The words are incapable of capturing that event. Kathana kathi na ave. Kathana means to explain, to describe. There is no way. And oh, by the way, there is no shortage of the people who is trying to say that also. If you go to the library, on every subject in this universe you will find 5-10 books except the religion. There are thousands and thousands of books. Because everybody wants to write, everybody wants to explain. And he's trying to explain absolutely unexplainable. Have you ever noticed the biggest problem of the stage management in a gurdwara, in a temple, in a mosque? What is the bigger problem? The time management. Because everyone says, I need more time. 5 minutes, 20 minutes, half hour is not enough. Why is that? Have you noticed that? Why everybody? They are not accepting the fact that even if they were given 10 days, 10 lives, they would not be able to say what they want to say. That's why it is called Akat Kahani. It is a story. And everybody is telling it. But it will never be told. Kathana kathi na ave tot. Those people Tot means the shortage. There is no shortage of the words. But kat, kat, kathi, koti, kot, kot. The people from the time immemorial have been trying to describe that. That has not happened. It will not happen. It cannot happen. Would you surrender it before you get started? But you won't surrender it because your ego will say, wait a minute. I'm smarter than those who have gone before me. I can certainly do a better job. Well, at least let me try it. Right? Give me a chance. Okay, I may not be able to, but at least without trying, how do I know? See how the ego is coming back? Ego will not surrender right in the beginning. That lot has been said, written, documented, move on. It cannot be done. I'm going to try it. I might fail, but I'm going to try it. In failing, at least I can say, I tried it. I survived one way or the other. That I wants to remain alive. So the focus is not on him. I am describing him. Kathana, kathi, naya vedo. Kath, kathi, koti, kot. But I want to try. So trying what? Describing him. Where's the focus? I am trying. I'm going to give it a shot. I might fail, but I'm going to give it a shot. Guru Nanak says that's what happened to the people. All through the ages. But look at the characteristics. Dinda de, lande thakabahe, juga jagantar khai khai. This is what the process going on. Nobody has succeeded in it from the time immemorial. The humans can get tired, but that Creator has absolutely endless patience. No limit to that. Those who are receiving His grace, they can get tired of receiving the grace. Why you keep on forgiving me? You keep on forgiving the whole race of the humans and say, alright, continue. The children are playing, let them have fun. Dindade. He continues. In the same benevolence, in the same gracefulness. Those who are receiving it, they may get tired. They may sometimes say, why Lord? He never says, I'm going to stop. And not one day, not 2 days. This is Jugo Jugantar Khahi Khai. Jugantar. Jugo means the Jugas, but Jugantar means before they were not there, before the Juga. Khahi Khai. So why it is going on that way? Gurbani gives the final answer. It says, Hukmi hukum chalaye raho. This is what I have been telling you in the first pauri, in the second pauri. I'm telling you, it is His will. Hukmi hukum chalaye raho. His will is making everything happen. Everything stays on its path, on its determined, predisposed result, because that's the way He made it. You are just a conduit, an instrument. You are not the doer. The doer is somewhere else. And in that doing, what is his reaction? It's a Viksa. Beautiful word. Viksa. It's not being happy. It's not being sad. It's Viksa. It's a complete joy. which has no definition. Total joy. Because the drama, the cave is so perfect, it's so beautiful, that all you can say, wow. There is no words other than that to describe it. Nanika viksa ve paravaho. Ve paravaho. That word is misleading because the people think ve paravaho means careless. Not carelessness. It is carefreeness. Just as a child is running around the beach, sometimes getting wet, and sometimes getting dry, and sometimes getting on the hot sand, sometimes getting on the cold sand, sometimes getting trapped by the weeds, and the parents are going out of their mind with what the kid is doing, and he's having a ball. That's it. Vikse ve parvaah. And the Guru Nanak says, look here. It has been done, attempted, but 99% of those attempts got absolutely sidetracked. The focus became on the creation rather than the creator, because the creation is visible, the creator is invisible. Because he is invisible, the human mind found it easier to focus on गावे को दात जाने निशान, गावे को गुण बढ़िया चार, गावे को विद्या विक विचार, गावे को साज करे तंखे, गावे को जिए ला कर दे, गावे को जापे दिसे दूर, गावे को वे के हाल रहा दे. Did not matter what outlook it is, but it was always focused on the outside. Even though they did not, even the outside capacity is unlimited. The creator's capacity to create outside is absolutely unlimited. The mind cannot even focus on that. Right? I mean, if you ask the scientists today, have you found the end of the universe, even with your Hubble telescope, they are still finding that it's just expanding. The universe is continuously expanding. It is not done yet. X billion of years ago, it started, but it still is going on. So means what? What happens when they say the universe is still expanding? What do you think is happened to the theosophy of saying God created on 6 days and on the 7th day he rested? He's done creating. What are you going to ask? What are they going to do with it? Hey, if the God is done with it, who's expanding it? What's going on? How do you explain it? Quite a few years back, there was a lot of controversy because scriptures of those days said the earth is flat. And then came the proof, the earth is not flat. And they compromised. They said it is a flat, but it's like a circle. It's like a chapati. They could not accept the fact that it's a globe, because the scripture says earth is flat. The scriptures could not be modified. It had too much religious baggage in it. So Guru Nanak says, these attempts have been made, but remember, when you make this attempt, the focus should remain on the Creator. So that's why we say, when you meditate, keep your mind, thought at your heart, and you don't care what image you have. You have the image of a Sai Baba, you have the image of a Kala Mata. We don't care. If that image points you to that one ultimate creator. If the Kali Mata is the ultimate creator for you, then that image is okay. But if you say, no, Kali Mata is a mediator, then we recommend that you find an image which actually has no mediator for you. It's directly there. You give your name, we are okay with that. You pick any name, any shape, any form. That helps you to say, between me and that creator, there is nothing else. Between me and my God, there is no witness, there is no prosecutor, there is no defense attorney. That's basically it. So when you are able to project that, who are you going to lie to? To yourself or to your God? Who are you lying to? That's why, as a matter of fact, if you think of the Indian weddings as a Hindu or Sikhs, there's never an attorney present in our weddings. There's no liar to draw a contract. Why? Because at that moment, the assumption is that you are in contact with your ultimate source of energy, whosoever that is. And between you and him or her or it, there is no virtual life, there is no mediator. So, you're making a promise, either to him or to yourself, and there is no mediator. So, the attorney is not required. And Guru Nanak basically says, this has been going on from the time immemorial, that the people are tempted, but their focus shifted. So, when you are going to do jap, remember the focus. The focus should be on that ultimate energy. So, with that, let's spend some time in keeping the focus on that ultimate energy. So, as we always suggest, it's totally up to you. We are trying to increase the time. So, Jin Sang Japiye now, with whom you sit down and can meditate on his name. And then there is a warning. Tin Sang Sange na kichai Nanak Jinna Apana Suvao. Anyone who has a self-motivation, Swarat, Swao, self-interest, self-focus, try to stay away from that company if you are a meditator. So who are the self-interested people who want to make money out of you, who want to make name out of you, who want to get power, votes, things like that. And say stay away from it. When you are starting on this path, just pure meditation. Now you notice that in this method, when you breathe in, you will notice that the stomach gets pulled in completely. And when you breathe out, the stomach gets pulled down. It pulls in. Now you can see what it's doing to the body. It's throwing a pure oxygen and also giving the maximum exercise to the whole stomach muscle. Now you can see why they say कि सबना औखद सब now सब दुखा दा दारू की कहते नाम की idea की है. Look, you're sitting and you're breathing in and out, and the whole of the body is getting energized, getting exercise. Naturally, the muscles and the limbs, all that, are getting the proper nourishment. So it is not only spiritual, it is physical, it's mental. So thanks for being here today. And if this is the right proportion of the talk versus meditation, we'll keep it this way. I'll leave it up to the Sangat. About an hour of a talk and about a half hour of meditation. Or if you want to change the proportion, I'm okay with any combination thereof. And so we have today concluded the third stanza, and 2 weeks from now we'll pick up on the fourth. With that, I thank you all for coming and for
the meditation, the no mind. So many other processes are saying mind to be not involved in doing anything. So the act of washing his head or singing, is it to put mind someplace to do other places?
Well, these are the initial steps. These are the baby steps. The mind not to be involved will come after. If you want to get out of the house, the first few steps are going to be within the house. The idea is first use this body, use this mind to get focused. Because right now it's all scattered. So you breathe and you focus your mind on your heart or on your umbilical cord and just keep it there. Try to wander away, bring it back, keep on till it has become focused. Is the next stage when you say, okay, now get out of the way completely. See what he had what was called a dynamic meditation. Now the dynamic meditation was consisting of 3 parts. First 15 minutes was catharsis. And the catharsis was you are not allowed to sit down. You are asked to get up and make any body movements, any which way. You want to dance, you want to run, you want to twirl around, just complete catharsis of the body. Do whatever you want to do. And once it is tired, then focus on a sound. And then that for first 15 minutes, okay, complete chaos. Next 15 minutes, focusing on a single, repeating the word who with a who. And then the last one was quietly lie down and just do nothing, watch. He had this divided in 45 minutes, 15 minutes dynamic meditation. Now, so what we have done is we've taken the first 15 minutes out of this and we are starting from the middle. Because I don't think Perry is going to allow everybody to throw whatever they want to throw inside their house. that wouldn't be acceptable. But it is the initial stages. Those of you who have experience with it and are experienced meditators, they can go into any meditative state. That's okay. But we started from the ground zero with everyone. So the first thing is breathe and use the word and try to focus the mind on the word. And believe me, for a beginner it is a hell of a problem. Because even when you are thinking, you are hoping you are thinking somewhere else.
It actually differs from person to person. This is liking. Someone liking is otherwise, and someone liking is on the right way.
We just introduced this in the last about 4 weeks, 4 times. Because up till now we have not said, with the people said we are not ready. So we kept it pure on the talk. And that's why I said I'm going to leave it up to the participants, whichever way they feel. They can change it, increase it, reduce it, modify it. I will leave it up to. But if you remember that Jo sukh chhaju de chubare, o balk na bukhare. That particular quotation came from because Shaju was a saint. He was blessed, independently rich also. So he used to gather the people and will tell them that I will take care of your body any way which way you want. Whatever you want to eat, I'll provide it. Whatever you want to drink, I'll provide it. Whatever you want to wear, dress, I have only one requirement of you. For 8 hours, you just go and sit and meditate. I take care of you. You just meditate, and the people used to run away. लकड़ा तोड़वाला है, पत्थर तोड़वाला है, कुछ काम करवाला है, 8 घंटे मेहनत करने लिए तैयार हैं, पर आज जरा बैठ के करना है ना, राम 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 ये नहीं होगा.
That is very much actually.
The mind finds more, excitement in that.
This is a great rush in clubs. This is a great rush in religious gatherings. So this differs from person to person. Our own liking.
What I noticed since we started that one person. So I wish to go to one like touch and
Hey, that's not. you gonna let him get away with that? There, the mind will get focused much faster than in the meditation. In the theater, the mind will be captured much easier because there is a catalytic agent. The training of the mind to be able to focus. Some people it come easy, some people it doesn't. But imagine that little lens we used to have, and we will try to surprise our friends by burning a piece of paper or a little leaf because it could focus the rays through a single point. Mind is exactly like that. If you can, what I'm saying is that the mind. If you read Aldous Huxley, he will tell you that when he was taken by the National Institute of Health and Sciences as a poet, they wanted to actually see the effect of psychedelic on a poet's mind under a controlled environment. And after giving him the dose of the LSD, they took him into the park and asked him as to how his perception of the plants and the trees things have changed. And he wrote in the book called the Windows to the Mind. In that he says that he suddenly realized that this mind actually filters out. It's not a brain, it's not something to contain the things, it is something to filter out that for which the human mind-body system is not ready. The brain works as a filter. Because the knowledge of the universe is all around you. It is in every particle of the air. The total genetics, total DNA is available, blueprint right now as we are sitting everywhere. But each human brain acts as a different filter and allows only that knowledge to filter through, which the mind-body system can sustain, accept. Just, you can say the belief systems. To some, to be able to eat a raw meat is a delight. To others, it is a repulsive thought. They can't even look at it. So what's happening? The brain is allowing certain things going through. So it says, the LSD, what it did, it opened that up. It dropped the filtering part of it and let the energy completely come the way it is, absolutely unedited. Hence the people committing suicides, because they felt they could fly. So they went on and they literally did believe that they can fly. They went on the top of the roof and jumped. Because the humans do have a capacity to fly under a certain set of circumstances. So they did not understand the constraint. The physical body is not what flies, it's the mind which can experience all of that. So he said, now if you can take this mind, which is scattered all over, and focus it through, pass it through a prism which concentrates this energy, and that energy now can be directed toward anything. If we are using only 10% of our mind now, imagine what will happen. 10% of the mind being used and all scattered. If that was focused, then you can focus on whether it's science or technology or money or wealth, or you can focus on spirituality. So the whole idea is to first train the mind to to become single process oriented, which is contrary to the belief system that we have today. Today we believe that we are multitasking. We take pride in the fact, right? I can listen to the radio, I can watch the TV, I can cook, and I can read, and I can chastise the child, and I can do all those things together.
But place you have to do that, yes.
So today, that is almost considered a healthy thing to do. Whereas in meditation, it is exactly the opposite. No multitasking. No multitasking. That's the first thing. Because I remember somebody, a Sufi Kahani, somebody went to some saint and said, "You want me to sit and meditate?" He said, "Yeah." "And what do I do when I feel hungry?" He said, "Well, then eat." And he was shocked. He said, "Wait a minute, what is this act?" "When I get tired," he said, "then rest." I said, "Oh, wait a minute, I thought you said that I am supposed to meditate all day." He said, "Yeah, of course you are supposed to meditate all day." And he was not understanding the parable. What he was saying, that if you are hungry, then just eat. Just eat. The thought process to be nowhere else except eat. We do exactly the opposite, right? We sit on the table and then we turn on the TV and we turn on the radio or do something else and put a newspaper in front also and
multiple activities.
And we have no idea what's going into the mouth. He's saying that when you are eating, then just eat, so that every morsel of that food, your body is actually watching it, enjoying it every chew. You can actually literally go, you're drinking the water, your consciousness is actually traveling with the water through the digestive system all the way. You're just drinking. Now the meditative science says that any activity in the world, any activity, if you can do it once with the complete, perfect awareness, you will transcend it. You will not have to do it again. Think about it.
Is it true then in reality the world is good?
It's a perception. Yeah, it's a
It's the ego.
It's a paradigm. Yeah, it's a
Ego,
construct.
the creator of the world.
Yeah, it's a construct. But the thing that if you could take a sweet and the moment you put it on your tongue and every taste bud in your system is fully alert and the mind is nowhere else except every fiber of your body is enjoying that sweet all the way through the digestive system, you will not have the craving for the sweet for the rest of your life, because the process has been done, complete. The system understands it now. You repeat the process because you always leave something behind yet to be tasted. It's not done yet. And the most charade in the human mind, and the pop psychology has taken you totally away. Right? And they tell you, you make love to your husband, it doesn't matter if you think of Robert Redford, it's alright. If you listen to Master and Johnson's or Dr. Ruth, they are saying that fantasy is actually good. So what it does, they have no clue. What it does, it leaves that hunger with you for the rest of your life. So you will be changing a partner after partner after partner because it has just not been completed. You have that meeting of the male and the female once. With that completeness, you will transcend the sexuality. End of discussion. You don't need it anymore.
If you do that, then there are
Don't worry about that, it doesn't happen that easy. This is a very common paradigm. Somebody was asking me there, if everybody does this, everybody becomes the same. What will happen to the world? The reality is that if you look at the arithmetic of it, normally it is the ratio of 1 to 1,000. Let's say that 1 million people start. Then you can divide it by 1,000. And that many will get an idea that this is something I want to experiment further. 1,000 of them will drop. Yeah. And those of that who say I want to get deeper, they'll go to the first layer and they'll say it's too tough. And 1,000 will drop again.
Question, you hand in there.
Yeah.
And one of your narrations after observing something else, I think you interchangeably using the word mind and brain.
Yeah. The mind and brain are not synonymous. Brain is a physical equipment.
Yes.
Okay? And the mind is the collection of memories stored in that. Think of it as a brain as being the disk drive, the memory, and the storage on that, the data stored on that is the mind.
Or if you on the same thought, there is memory and there is memory controller.
Yeah.
Is mind the memory controller?
No, the brain has different functions, right? The same part of the, just as in the computer there is the operating system, hardware, and then the application software and the tools, etc. If you remember when Guru Gobind Singh said, Sapt Sring Sobhat hai, Sodat hai kahan. Remember that? Hem Kund Parbat hai jahan, Sapt Sring Sobhat hai kahan. Teh hum adhak tapasya sadhi. Guru Gobind Singh was not talking of a hill or a mountain.
A place.
He was not talking of a place.
Yeah.
He was talking of a condition. Hem Kund. Hem means the cold, quiet, peaceful. Hem Kund. In the state where it is absolutely peace and quiet, in that state the mind will go, the thought process will go through 7 stages. If you talk to the medical doctors, they have divided the brain into 7 areas, main areas, and each area has a different function. Those are the 7 layers, 7 stages. And he said, Sapta Saringa Sobhata Heta. 7 layers, 7 stages. He said, Tehme Adhaka Tapasya Sadhi. He says, I have gone through all 7 of them. So इन्हें सिखाने की गीता है ना, they went to किसी पहाड़ी पे जाके होते जिथे साते कुछ या चोटियां लग करते थे गुरुद्वारा बना रहे हो. You know, there's a Hemkut society in New York City, and they every year they take the people from here, they charter the plane and they go to Hemkut. So, to your question, the controller part, the thinking part, the questioning part, the doubting part, the enjoying part, they are all part of the physical apparatus. But the software that drives that hardware, yeah, that's mind. And it is the actual, all the issue, all the problems with the human life are from the the software. It's not from hardware. Because the hardware is given to you and it's taken away from you, right? You get a hardware and then you continue in running that hardware with the software that you develop.
Can I use the argument when I had discussion with the software guy? The software guy is always doing this, right?
And then the human body drops, the hardware drops. And what goes on with these is the software. And you know, everything in this life has been complicated because of the hardware. Think about it. Think about it. तू मेरी बीवी वाला क्यों मेरा पे आओ? What is the focus?
Yeah, because that you can feel, that you can see. You cannot feel, you cannot see.
सारा फोकस जो है हार्डवेयर पे है, चमड़ी पे है. The skin that burns and drops the first becomes the total focus. You cannot own the skin I own. You cannot touch the skin I touch. Isn't it? What is underneath that skin is never discussed. Never talked about. है ना? उस जमाने से कहना सूरत के हम सीरत के हम गुलाम हैं, सूरत हुई तो क्या, सुर्खो सफेद मट्टी की मूरत हुई तो क्या. आजकल सीरत का कोई गुलाम नहीं, सब सूरत के गुलाम है. शेख अरदास करते सिखा दा मन नीवा मत उची, गल एग्जैक्टली अपोजिट है. उन्होंने मत नीवी हुई भैया मन उचा. So, coming back to, it is that energy, that mind, if you can think of the mind as the rays coming from the sun, and then you put a little glass in front of it, and put focus, and then when it touches the ground, whether it's a wood or a leaf or anything, it can literally burn the hole in it. That 10% of the mind that we are using has the capability to burn through the veil of that kudya. Kib kude tutte pa. It can literally burn through that veil, provided we can concentrate that energy. So, this first child step of repeating the same word is teaching the mind, shut up and focus on this. I'm not going to feed you any more things. I'm only going to feed you one word. That's it. No story, no examples, nothing else.
It's a process, not vertical.
And it can take hours, it can take days, it can take months, it may happen in minutes. To each his own.